Republican platform supports the repeal of the 17th Amendment, the direct election of senators, and the appointment of senators by the Idaho legislature as a mechanism to address concerns about the relationship between the state and federal government. Do you support the repeal of the 17th Amendment?
No, I do not support the repeal of the 17th Amendment, primarily because it takes away your right as voters to elect senators. I understand why the founders put in place the setup that they did, with having the state legislatures pick and essentially vote for and appoint senators. But as time went on and as we become a different nation and we became more diverse and we spread across the country, I believe it became clear that the way we think about those two bodies required a change of thought. And so when the 17th Amendment was passed, you remember this was a time when you saw significant corruption going on in state houses in terms of folks essentially being able to come in and buy Senate seats. I don't think any of us believe that is a wise path in order to fulfill a position in such a body as the Senate. And so as I look at our modern day Senate and the notion of moving back to that time as opposed to holding a statewide vote, and allowing every voter in our state to have a voice in getting to choose who represents us back in Washington, D.C., I believe it's incredibly important. And the arguments around the idea that the Senate becomes a check on federal overreach in the states because those individuals are appointed by the state legislature, I struggle with that because ultimately they are also accountable to voters as well. Yeah. And so I guess my question is are we really going to argue that the voters are less capable than the legislature in holding their senators accountable? I don't think so.
Thank you, Mr. Nate.
Thank you. I am a Republican. I'm a platform Republican, and when we run for office, we're given a survey about whether or not we agree with the platform, and given the opportunity to sign on and say that we agree with the platform. And I say I do, except for one or two exceptions. The 17th Amendment one is not an exception I make. I am supportive of repealing the 17th Amendment. The 17th Amendment, I think, has been destructive to our representative republic in that it removes a check on the federal government that was very valuable. That when senators were elected by state legislatures, the state legislatures had a means to check their senators on federal overreach. And federal overreach is a real thing. We couldn't get rid of Common Core because of federal overreach. We risked losing federal dollars. ARPA money has come into the state. We're directed what to do with those ARPA dollars and losing our state sovereignty. The COVID CARES Act brought money into the state. We're told what to do with it. We lose our state sovereignty over that. 62% of Idaho lands are controlled by the federal government. The federal government needs a check on it, and the 17th Amendment removed a key check that the state legislatures, when they elected senators, they were electing senators who would not usurp state legislature power. Now that we've lost that, we see that the federal government has run awry. Our state budget, our total government spending in Idaho, when I went into office in 2014, was 35% federal. Now it's about 47% federal spending in Idaho. Do you think the federal government feels any check at all from their state legislatures? We need to repeal the 17th Amendment.